This is the best of the week on Relevant Radio.
When the Saints go marching in, huh? That's an appropriate bumper. I'm going to be joined in just a second by my colleague, Peter Atkinson. He directs The Merry Beggars here at Relevant Radio, and that new series, I hope you got the email, on Saints has gone out, and I'll get you up to speed on everything there. It's going to be a great series. I'm super excited about it. And I invited him to stop by today because you probably know it, the Screen Actors Guild, the Writers Guild of America, they have all been striking against the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers. And that strike has put just a major pinch on our primary means of entertainment. And I there's no more talk shows. I don't know how you feel about that. Maybe that's not a bad thing. The stream of new movies, that's been cut. The only major new movie that's out is Denzel Washington's Equalizer 3. Other than that, big releases like Gladiator 2 and Mission Impossible, they're all on pause and on pause indefinitely. On TV like Yellowstone and Stranger Things, they're also paused. So there's a lot going on right now. So where are we with the strikes? How much longer will it persist? Peter is in studio with me today. And, there was news today that the writers and producers are going to schedule a meeting for, I think it was early next week, which is a big change from what I heard. A couple talk shows are also, I think, going to start broadcasting again without writers, including Bill Maher and Drew Barrymore. And I think Barrymore might pay the price for that. Her invitation to host the national awards has been revoked. So we'll see. I mean, what are you seeing? And maybe fill us in. Give us the big picture here.
Well, it's interesting. So the last time that there was a strike like this that really significantly paused the entertainment industry was in 2007, 2008, when the Writers Guild struck. And that gave us Jersey Shore. That gave us reality television show.
Wow.
That gave us reality TV, because what do producers who like earning a paycheck, what do the producers do when the writers go on strike? They start launching reality television.
Yeah.
And so that strike, which I think was related to streaming, that strike led to a big shakeup in the industry. And I think this strike, which has been going on since around July for the actors and May for the writers, this strike is going to result in a similar disruption to the industry. It's a reaction to disruption in the industry from various forces, but I think it's going to shake a lot of things up. But I just to pull back, I think that this strike comes in part and possibly mostly because of artificial intelligence.
Really?
It all began with Gollum with performance capture. So you had Andy Serkis in a suit perform as Gollum in Lord of the Rings. There was amazing technology, so on and so forth. You fast forward a couple of years and suddenly you have computers de-aging brand names like Robert De Niro in The Irishman or Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones. And then you move forward a couple of years. This is within the past 2-3 years. They are cloning the voices and the likenesses of people who have died and using them to produce more content.
Wow.
Anthony Bourdain and Andy Warhol are recent examples. And so we're starting to shift from when I was growing up, it was the talk of the town was always, this movie has great special effects. This, Star Wars, wow, that looks like lava, all that stuff. To now we're moving into an era where computers are able to take human likenesses and produce content that is, to most consumers, you can't tell the difference between the two. And that represents a huge threat to actors and to writers, and it is a bit creepy. I'm not sure all the listeners know who the Writers Guild are, so on and so forth. So it's two unions. You have the SAG-AFTRA, Screen Actors Guild, which is all of the actors, and that's about 160,000 people. And then you have the Writers Guild, which is about 11,000 people. And they have not gone on strike since 1960. And you know who the leader of SAG-AFTRA was then?
No.
Ronald
Wow.
Reagan. Ronald Reagan was the head of the Actors Union. So it's been a while. It's been 60-some years since both of them went on strike. And they're making some pretty intense demands to the studios. So we'll see. I think it'll last for many, many months more.
So Gladiator, I don't know what you think about that movie. I'd love to see Gladiator too. I hope it's just as good.
I hope so too, but they're not going to be able to produce it because the strike is putting a pause on all filming.
So what does that do? I mean, movies are one thing, but I'm just thinking of even the series. Do people say, you kind of, when you're watching a series, you're all into it. You like to binge watch it, right? When you get disconnected from it after a while, I wonder if they're going to lose.
But Drew, you're still operating in the old model. So you're operating in the broadcast model where people watch series on cable, on TV, but most people now on streaming services don't watch things that way. And this is another big part of the strike. So
but explain that to me, because, for example, let's say you want to watch Breaking Bad. Old series. You'd watch 3-4 episodes a night, right? Well, if you got halfway through that, the series ended, a year goes by or a couple of months go by, you might be into some other series and never come back to that.
But think about Stranger Things. So Stranger Things didn't release one episode at a time. They dropped 8, 10 of them all at once.
Right.
And so the model has turned from trying to keep people engaged week to week in a series to trying to make sure that subscribers don't cancel their monthly fee. And that's really big because a lot of the fight is around residuals. Mm-hmm. So residual is when an actor, say I have a role in Gladiator 2. I'm moonlighting while I'm at Relevant Radio in Gladiator 2. And it does well, but I'll keep on getting checks. I'll keep on getting money for 10 years, as long as Gladiator 2 is being rerun on cable, on TV, so on and so forth. Those are called residual checks. And with streaming, residuals don't really exist. So for Gladiator 2, I could expect to get, another $25,000 from a role over the next decade or so. With streaming, I would get $0 because instead of the incentive with the residuals is if say you're, CBS and you're rebroadcasting Gladiator 2 and you get, 1 million people watching it, you're going to be able to sell a lot of ads when you broadcast that movie. And so there's a cost, there's a residual that you have to pay when you rebroadcast, but you can sell ads. Versus Netflix, I don't know what the monthly fee is. It's like $15 or whatnot. I don't have Netflix, but if I had it, it would be about $15. And then whenever the movie is rebroadcast or people start streaming it again, they don't actually make any more money because they aren't selling ads up until this point. They aren't selling ads on these types of movies or TV shows. Now, they reintroduced an ad tier because of this, but that's part of the reason that the writers and the actors are striking, because in a streaming world, residuals don't make sense anymore. Residuals depended on the broadcasters making more money when they rebroadcast it because they could sell ads. But if you're, Paramount Plus or Hulu or Netflix, you are not making more money when someone rewatches Gladiator 2 because you're not selling ads. Yeah. And so actors and writers who don't earn a lot of money except for the big stars, they have seen their income drop like a rock because they're not earning the residuals.
That's really interesting. The AI, back to that, playing into this. What's the law around that? I mean, if I'm an actor, and my voice is, let's say, is distinct, and I play a part, I would think you don't have the right to use my voice.
So currently, this is what's up for debate. The law is still being formed. Currently, it's whatever is in the contract. So industries, different studios have gotten actors to be a background actor, an extra. They'll put them in a booth, scan their entire body, and then have the rights to their digital likeness in perpetuity. So that means
crazy.
that all the crowd scenes that you might see in a movie, whereas before that would cost, hundreds of thousands of dollars and actors would, pay their rent with that money. Today, actually, studios can replace all of those hundreds of actors with computer generated, artificially intelligent simulations. And that's one of the big things is before they would have to pay actors, and that was a way that up-and-coming actors, up-and-coming writers could earn their stripes, they could pay the rent. But now, with artificial intelligence, they're able to scan people and completely eliminate that job from the entertainment industry.
That's unbelievable. So, I don't know, how does it get resolved?
This is the adventure. I mean, there's other factors as well. Like, for instance, Netflix has been spending $17 billion on producing new content, and that's just not sustainable. So I think that some of the streaming services are actually happy that they are not having to continue to burn piles of cash in order to produce new content. Mm-hmm. But eventually it has to resume. And it sort of seems like an immovable object and an unstoppable force. I don't know how it ends.
Everything from AI to residuals, right? I mean, you got a lot at play here.
There is a lot of factors. The writers and the actors do not want to become obsolete. But every producer and every CFO of every studio is looking at artificial intelligence and thinking, man, I could save a lot of money off this. And I think it's also partly because our entertainment culture has shifted from telling stories and creating beautiful works of art to producing content to keep eyeballs addictively glued to screens so that you can't cancel your monthly subscription fee. So I think it's just it's a shifting media environment with a shifting technology environment that has really thrown things up in the air.
Well, AI is coming. You know, I think it's going to be part of our life from here on out. That's the case. Peter, we only have a few minutes, so I do want to talk about something else. Fill everyone in on the Saints. There may be people who didn't know nothing about it, but bring us up to speed.
Okay, so this is non-AI generated. Our actors are real people. The Saints are really spiritually beneficial. So this is, you can go to thesaintspodcast.com to listen to our new production. The Saints is the title of it. The subtitle is Adventures of Faith and Courage. And it's a weekday audio series telling dramatic, adventurous, and inspiring stories of the Saints. We released 5 episodes on St. Patrick and 5 episodes on Joan of Arc. And partly the reason that I know AI is not a very good writer is because we played around with it in developing this series. You know, oh, could this help us? Could this be a tool?
Yeah, right.
It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. So we spend a lot of time trying to make these series good. We spend 9.5 months developing each story so that people can listen to these stories and fall in love and have their hearts be moved. Yeah. And I think, you know, to tie this to the AI conversation, I was talking to a writer I know, an Oscar-nominated director in Hollywood. I was talking to him about AI, and he was saying, you know what, just let them experiment with it because they're going to see how bad it is and then not want to use it.
That's so true.
And I think that is why we invest in having good writers. That's why we invest in having like 10, 12, 13 actors in a room together to perform these saint stories. And what we've heard from our audience has been people have absolutely loved the series. There have been stories of people who thought, you know, it was just another saint story. They didn't want to listen to it, and they were just blown away and just so excited that we're releasing this. So
no, it's super exciting. And tell everyone how they can get plugged in. I mean, how do you sign up? How do you hear it? You can go back and hear other episodes too, right?
Yeah, so you can listen to it on the Relevant Radio app. All of the episodes are available on thesaintspodcast.com. You sign up there, and then you get an email every single weekday with a beautiful new 10 to 12 minute episode.
Yeah, it's cool. I love the length of it too. It's easy to listen to. You take a walk, you're in your car.
And that's what we heard from our audience was people want small, bite-sized pieces that they can listen to. They don't want to listen for 40 minutes. Every saint is 5 parts. If you haven't gotten signed up, go to thesaintspodcast.com.
Hey, Peter, thank you. Always great to talk with you, okay?
Thanks so much, Drew.
You can join me and listen on the Relevant Radio app to The Drew Mariani Show live each weekday at 2 to 5 Central. Thanks for listening.